Hey, welcome to Too Many Gadgets. So Xiaomi have updated their Dyson killer in the handheld vacuum cleaner department. This is the Xiaomi Mi vacuum cleaner G10. It wasn't Xiaomi who pioneered the whole battery handheld vacuum cleaner. This was Dyson's that sort of led that market, but Xiaomi has really caught up to them and has even surpassed them in many areas, especially if you look at what you pay for the Xiaomi editions of these vacuum cleaners compared to Dyson's very expensive models. I've reviewed the original Dreame V9, which was really a milestone for Xiaomi within this product segment. I also reviewed the 1C, and the G10 is a successor, I would say, to the V10 and the V11. So let's have a look at what you get in the box and the specifications for this device. The unit weighs 4 kg and the motor will run up to 125,000 RPM. The battery, which is a 3000 milliamp, is interchangeable and will run for up to 1 hour depending on the mode you run the vacuum cleaner in. The main brush is a little bit different from what we've prior seen. It's more plastic with a little bit of bristle. You can take it out to clean it. The extension pole is like we've seen it in the past, so nothing new here. This is the small electric brush you can use to clean beds or sofas. The 2-in-1 module is also like we've seen it before, and you also get another attachment using for more narrow places. So this is the wet mop attachment that we'll look at later. And this is the attachment module that can hold up to 2 attachments and will also charge the vacuum cleaner while it's sitting there. The main unit has a TFT display that shows the remaining battery life and the operating mode. So the parts that comes with this vacuum cleaner is pretty much identical to every vacuum cleaner within this segment, perhaps with the one exception of the wet mop attachment. But let's have a look at how this performs in action. You select the operating mode by pressing the button to the left. The main brush is spinning to pick up debris, and it's fairly flexible, so it's easy to move around and navigate through furniture or other places. The carpet at my front entrance is always a good test. And if we turn it into auto mode, notice that it sort of turns up the pace once it hits the carpet. This is very clever that it sort of can detect how much suction it needs and then adjust accordingly. You can of course select this sort of higher speed manually. So here I'm testing the auto mode and just going into a normal room with a floor carpet, and it doesn't turn up the pace in this instance, so only at my front entrance carpet. It's It's very easy to maneuver under carpets or furniture or anything like that given the flexible module. So let's test out continuous mode. You press the right button, turn on continuous mode, and just press once on the button. And then it just spins until you press the button again. Like so. And again you can activate it. Really easy. Now let's have a look at the wet mop attachment module. This is very similar to what we have seen on robot vacuum cleaners. You first fill up the water tank, and you should only use water and no detergents because only water will work. You then take the claws and that sort of attach via Velcro to the water module, and make sure that the small knob here is on to on mode, or else it will not dispense water. You then put the floor module into the water tank, and then it sort of sits nice and snug. Then you can start sort of both cleaning and mopping at the same time. And while doing this, I did notice that the claws does create some friction, so it's slightly more, let's say, heavier to do this than just vacuuming without the wet mop attachment module. So this is just again testing out the flexibility and how easy it is to navigate the vacuum cleaner compared to the V9, which I've had for like 2 years now. So again, switching to the V9, you can see, it's fairly similar, but I will say that the V9 is slightly easier to navigate around with. Let's test out the sound levels. And now the same with the V9, and pay notice too, at the max level the V9 is more loud than the G10. So there's a very high frequent tone at max level for the V9 that's kind of annoying, and this is less annoying on the G10. Like for all the other modules, you can change out the filter and also clean like the main dust compartment. So having tested both the V9 and the 1C, and I still have the V9 as my own sort of personal vacuum cleaner, it would seem obvious to sort of do a comparison specifically against the V9 versus the G10. So let's have a look at that. G10 on the left and the V9 on the right. If you look at the main floor brush, you see that Xiaomi have chosen a new approach to how this module is working. Also looking at some of the attachment modules, you see that the old V9 has a 2-in-1 functions on one of the modules that the G10 does not have. But the main 2-in-1 brush does seem similar. One should note though that if you look at how they are attached to the main module, it's different. So one will not work on each other. So should you need to order an extra, it's very important that you choose the right one. Looking at the small electric brush, they seem very similar. Also, the extension poles are identical in name. The wet mop attachment module is of course only for the G10. So here they are side by side, looking fairly similar, but again, the operating mode with the display on one side and the manual button on the other side is kind of different. I'm a big fan of the Xiaomi handheld vacuum cleaners. I think they're good looking and they really do a good job. You don't overpay like I think you are doing if you are buying the Dysons, because the specs are so similar, and everything that Dyson pretty much has done to try and sort of surpass Xiaomi has just again upped the ante and come up to their level. So for me, this is just still a vacuum cleaner, so save your money. Don't spend twice as much buying a Dyson. Just get a Xiaomi and you'll be happy. So the big improvements here, if I look at the prior model.